Look at God. Hello, Dan.
Hello, trustee.
Good job. Blessings.
Hey, Dan.
Hello.
All right, so.
Good evening, Elsa.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Members, Limani, and guests to the June 2023 FMAC meeting. There are agendas here, and it was supposedly put online. Does everybody have an agenda? You do. Okay, great. I have a motion to open the meeting. Motion.
Second.
Being open, exits to. Okay, so we have, first of all, minutes. So I sent out draft minutes. I made a change. If you're not happy, I can tell you the change I made to the 328 minutes. And that was that I added on the bottom, I added the, we sent a request to Neil to sign a comprehensive plan with about 6 items. So we wanted him to, so I put that right in the minutes, that let that need. So that's in addition to what's on that paper. So. Did anybody?
I don't have the minutes.
Want to do a copy? That would go.
Oh,
I had one copy. Hey, Dave.
Oh, yeah.
Switch chairs. Is that a minutes there, Stephen?
Yeah, I think so. Nice, but you want to.
Yeah,
I think. We do all different days.
Yeah, there's 3.
Yeah.
Give her one.
I'll just look online.
Oh, you know.
That one.
You want to push it down. Yep.
There's no parking there. There's no parking in front. Everybody said there.
I know, everyone. The movies.
The movies or the
Carnival.
there, right?
It's a free.
Last month I was late. I could sit over there. The
Let me
camera
tell you
didn't
something. See Beatles
Well
out
done.
there.
Yeah, we got very crowded in that area.
Yeah.
Dan saw on all people. All right, so do I have a motion to approve the 328? Oh, yeah, no, you're right. Oh, look at that, Dave.
You made it.
Mr. Chair, I have the objection, all 3 of them. There's an error there, I believe. Yeah, all 3. It's the same one.
What's the error?
There was a statement about a report by Leilani and me.
Oh, yes, okay.
Okay, we determined that we didn't know what that was about and we didn't make those reports.
What report?
This was on the.
It was me.
It was Steve.
So only Steve on that?
I have no idea.
Well, I sent it to Lilani.
Yeah. Was that about the,
The funding.
yes, and right now it's still, we still have to figure out a process.
Right, so all I'm saying there is that that there's a new funding allocation. Flood victims.
Yes,
And the process is in progress.
yes.
And I have that YouTube, right, okay, so I have
So
to
is it-
change,
yeah.
Definitely not me.
change that to Stephen Glenn.
Yes,
Okay,
exactly. It was
I got
his idea.
Thank you.
I should-
The other one was, I think, in the April one. You refer to when we had that presentation about the throughway stuff. Right, and there was a comment of next steps question, proposal question. Well, in fact, we went forward on that. We did have a proposal. We passed the proposal.
All right, so so let's get to that. So on the March minutes. I don't know if that Stephen Glenn needs a correction, I will make it. The other thing I did, I added. The bottom of the minutes, I added we sent an email to Neil, the site planner, 6 points, so I put that right in the minutes. So I'll make those 2 changes. So with those 2 changes included, do I have a motion to approve the March 28th, 2022?
So
Second,
Am I allowed to vote? I was part of it virtually. Am I allowed to vote because I did miss parts of it? Am I still allowed to vote?
let's see if we have a second.
Okay,
We have a second.
Second.
and you're here.
No,
at the
on the
meeting.
23rd,
Oh,
the
23rd.
minutes, I was virtually, so.
But, Andrew, the answer is yes, you can vote. What you're attesting is that this is a fair and accurate assessment and recording of the
Right.
minutes of that meeting.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Dan. All right, so all in favor?
I,
Opposed? All right, so approved. All right, April. You look at April.
Get the
The
text.
Wi-Fi
Same
is
page,
over there,
Steve, for
over
me.
there.
Oh, the Harrison Panic, so I said, remember like 4 on the agenda.
It really
so,
sucks.
no.
Yeah, really.
Said you have to give 72 hours notice to be remote.
Don't even let me go far.
It's not, it's because they have to post where you are.
Right. So it's not good.
What time does their meeting start?
7. So usually I do the reverse. I virtually join in that come, so.
All right, the April meeting, if there's changes, I'll make it to Steve. The other thing I added there was under communication and cooperation with municipalities in our watershed. Just a statement that we've said many times. Village of Mamaroneck can be an interested party in land use applications for new properties affect the village of Mamaroneck.
We said that? Should we?
We said that.
Oh, good, yeah, we should. Oh, I thought
Yeah.
somebody actually wrote us back and said,
No, but we have said that. So that's the one change I made to what I circulated. If I need to change to Steve Glenner, I will. So any motion to.
No, I think that's the one for, the haste in the, presentation. Can you find that entry there?
Oh, right, so resolution, so next steps, discussion resolutions with the board. So we did do a resolution.
And it was made available to Alani to present.
All right, so I will add that resolution, see below.
Right.
All right, a motion to approve the April minutes. So move. Second.
Second.
In favor? All right.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All right, April's approved. All right. That's good enough for tonight. We'll do May next. All right, great, thank you very much.
we're meeting in,
We're gonna
August?
meet in
July, August, are we taking a month off?
Let's do it together.
It's up to y'all.
Usually we do unless something is absolutely pressing or emergency comes up. If we have a person, God forbid. I would mean. Everyone deserves a month off.
All right, so what's the discussion on the July meeting? Who wants to have a July meeting?
wait till we-
Let's say this, there will be no July meeting unless we have a real crisis. Hopefully that's not enough.
And August is always, I mean, although August is usually, but that's closer to our trouble, like, we should probably meet in August.
Closer to September.
Yeah.
Okay, we have to vote on that. So,
I got through one. Why not?
all right, so do I
That's
have
my
a
motion.
motion to no July
Second.
meeting, second, all in favor?
I,
Okay, so no July meeting. Okay, so Dan, being that.
By the way, just to note, that was the fastest thing we've ever agreed on. Wow, that was a miracle. Whoa, go us. Just kidding.
Yes, Tony.
but it was
Um,
complaining about it.
Dan, I know you sent us you sent at least me an update, which I saw today, I guess. And then
Yes,
I did say thank you and sent it to Flood, but probably nobody got a chance to.
I
read
got
it.
a chance to.
You read it?
Yes.
yeah, I had sent it to Leilani earlier today as well.
Right, right. So I said I just circulated it to the Flood this afternoon. So you want to give us a quick update?
Sure, let me pull up the agenda on my computer here. I think the first item dealt with was it the core? Give me 1 second.
So the first item on updates that I have, it's kind of standard, is silt removal.
Okay, so that's part and parcel of our dredging application. We are, I think, getting very close to get everything finalized. We received the comments from the Army Corps on the application. It's been updated and really with DEC at this point for the final review and approval.
So are you saying that, and I'm not challenging, I'm just clarifying, Army Corps approved it or they're almost to approve it?
Well, they gave us their comments, which we're incorporating.
Okay, so Army Corps comments to the village.
Yeah, let me just pull up my email and I can be a little more specific.
I don't think we need to be more specific tonight, honestly, we're not the engineers, if that doesn't hurt your feelings.
Daisy? Good
It
things.
says, received comments from the Corps on June 21st, which have been addressed and revised set of plans were sent back for their final review. We've sent the county
Be back.
the access agreements,
in Georgia. Yeah.
and we're still waiting for DEC and DOS comments.
All right, so you're waiting for DEC and who else?
DOS, Department of State.
I thought Jerry said it was in the process and it was gonna be 1 to 2 weeks, and that was 3 weeks or 3 weeks ago. Or is it-
It's still,
Probably goes.
yeah, we're still waiting on DEC and DOS. I mean, I can't, I can do a little investigation, but I don't know what,
Or he said it was 2 weeks ago, he said it was already a week in the process would take 2 weeks, so.
Sometimes those processes and what it say, what we think it's gonna be, is not necessarily what it is. It's similar to right now with the Massena Bridge. You know, we thought it was gonna start on July 1st and now it's like July 17th.
yeah, I think there's,
Wiggly thinking, not Mass.
yeah, we need our contractor authority to start mobilizing. Now it's gonna take a couple of weeks. We're still waiting on all the paperwork, which we think is in the final stages.
That was gonna be my other question too. I thought they were gonna start the mobilization.
And well,
We gave them permission to start mobilization. I just started looking into this today, so I haven't,
Okay.
yeah,
because Danny, I thought that we were also, I thought there were areas where they said we could proceed. Remember Jerry had given us the map with the 2 colors on it?
In terms of
I mean,
The silt?
yeah,
Yeah, anywhere, basically anywhere but Lower Beaver, like, anywhere but Lower Beaver Creek.
so, but did we start any salt removal or we don't know yet?
no, we haven't started anything removal yet.
I think you just be moving like boulders and
Right,
stuff.
it
down,
was
right?
debris.
Oh,
Yeah,
processes.
debris we started, absolutely.
Yeah.
All
Did it
right,
ever start where it's gonna start or no, that's up in the air?
I don't have an answer on that, Bernie.
All right.
Try and get that.
okay, great. All right, Dan, did you, my next one is the Mamaroneck Dam and, no, the Army Corps project. They're supposed to send us a project partnership agreement, right, a PPA, which I think the village signs, state signs, and then they sign. So do you have any updates on that document?
I haven't seen anything yet. I think the county may be a party to that as well.
They will.
I know the original study was a agreement among the Corps, the county, and the state. I haven't seen anything yet. I do know that the Corps has their money lined up through the Ida disaster recovery. The state, as part of the most recent budget, provided their funding. I think at this point, and I think the village has committed several times that it will provide its share of the funding. And I think the county is on board as well. And I mean, I think everyone knows the county executive is pretty supportive of seeing something done in Mamaroneck community, which he's represented in one fashion or another for the last 30 years.
All right, I think though that all right, so my question that we would appreciate finding out is the PPA agreement. You know, when are we gonna get it, basically?
Okay.
Obviously, you don't have it now.
Yeah.
Second is, I think that the village at the moment is not gonna have any financial responsibility as long as we don't go over the 88 million.
Leilani, that's correct, right?
That the village won't have any, we're gonna still have responsibility because we have to do maintenance at the end of the
Right,
day.
but not for the capital part of the.
No,
Yeah, there's gonna be also, I think we're gonna be responsible for administrative work on, what they get a little in the weeds, all the LURDs, the land easements, your recordations, there's a fair amount of administrative work we'll need to do as part of the project.
But
go ahead.
they're not gonna, the signing of this paper is not gonna delay the process still. I mean, they're still going forward with it. It's just
Yeah, I
to
mean,
make
no,
it
they're still
official.
going for- I mean, the first phase of the project was always the Ward Avenue Bridge replacement. And they had money left over from the original study, which they've been using to move that aspect forward. So, you know, there's nothing that's slowing down the current first phase of the project.
No, I just don't want them saying that we need to sign this paper.
I don't think that's going
We
to-
do have to sign it.
No, I get it. I don't want them to use that as a
So
it's
right,
an
that's why,
excuse. I don't want to use
Right.
that word, but I don't want to say that they're waiting on this document to proceed. That's,
Right.
you know.
For me, my impression of the Corps, and, you know, Tony, if you want to add anything, they are motivated to see this project get to fruition. And
Okay.
get shovels in the ground.
all right, and next one was the Mamaroneck Dam and Reservoir study. We did get a report from the GHD engineers.
Yeah,
Wow.
GHD.
So where is that now? What's, what are the next steps?
We still need, you know, to have that discussion with the board about, you know, which approach we're gonna take as it relates to that dam. I think we're also waiting for the finalization and completion of the SLR study. That's the DEC study, which SLR has presented their draft report to the DEC. And the DEC is poring over it and gonna provide their comments back to SLR.
All right, so I know we're waiting that SLR is not gonna release their study until DEC approves it.
Mhm.
And then it goes to the village trustees to look at it. So Dan and Leilani, this Mamaroneck Dam and Reservoir. I think it would be helpful for everybody if we had a clearer path. What's the path here? Right?
Unfortunately, it really is a waiting game, but in terms of, do you want us to push the state again? Is that what you're requesting in
Well-
terms of a clear path?
Well, or you, Tony, you're referring to the several options which GHD said, which were, you know,
But
decommission, build new, you know, retrofit. Is that what you're talking about, Tony?
Yeah.
So we have.
it could be either or, because it could be the option on top of us waiting to get it back, because it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Again,
I said it's a little bit of both, in terms of we have to wait for it to get the study back, right?
yes, SLR
I
study.
think the SLR study will inform the board's decision-making process.
Yes,
All right,
but
so-
we still have to, don't we still have to have no, we didn't have the public hearing on it.
Well, I mean, a public hearing that's a legal technical term. I mean, the board will have to make a decision at some point as, you know, option A, B, C, or D, which is the one we're going with.
Okay, so I think that from what I'm hearing, I personally would like to see the LSR studies as soon as possible. Because what are they recommending? So if we could push DEC to get that, it would be a big help. Go ahead.
But why are we waiting, Dan, to put the GHD paperwork to the Board of Trustees? For the SLR, that's a study on top of a study. We already had a study of the
I
dam.
don't think
They
that's.
already determined there was four different options.
No,
It needs to be put on their desk and start the process. And then when the SLR comes in, then it's just one more piece of information that they had. who knows what SLR is gonna come up with? I mean,
Well, I think the
we're gonna
board-
have conflicting studies that's the dam.
And that,
So what are we gonna do? We're gonna go from one and then we're gonna have a fight over which is, you know what I mean?
Well, no, I think, one will help. SLR or GHD said you can do A, B, C, or D.
Yeah.
And there are 4 options they give, so I'm just saying A, B, C, or D. The SLR study is looking at the larger watershed and may have more specific recommendations. And I think that will help the board say, okay, we want to do A, B, C, or D.
But what if we're waiting for this report, SLR, and they come back and they really didn't do the models for the dam because they figured GHD did all the models for the dam. So my point is, why are we waiting to give the Board of Trustees the paperwork from GHDs to put it on their desk and have them look at it, maybe as an agenda item? Maybe not. I'd like to be an agenda item, but to start the process. They're not gonna vote on these 4 options in 2 weeks. I get that, but let them see the GHD, let the process begin. It's already, when is it? March, April, May, it's already 4 months after the study is gone. And quite frankly, does anyone know if SLR even studied the dam? Do they have any information on the dam?
I think
If
they,
they-
I think they do have information on the dam. They
Okay,
have information on the watershed. They do have information on how kind of everything interacts with each other. So I think, again, that's why it will help the board make their decision. As far as the GHD study- as far as the GHD study, I think the board does have that. If not, if it's not in its final format, I can just make sure it is and get it to the board.
yeah, let them look at it, let them start looking at it.
Yeah.
like, all right, so Dan, I think we need the final GHD report, like, is it finalized, final study?
Yeah.
And let's push DEC to get that SLR report, because if they disagree with each other, now we have another can of worms to deal
Yeah.
with.
Okay.
So,
We'll talk, Dan, we'll talk about that this week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
okay, thanks, Dan. All right, so our position at the moment is we would like to see both studies completed and given to us, obviously, the board first, so we could.
Or at
Read
least,
them.
or at least if GHD is finalized, give them the finalized copy of it.
When is it appropriate for us to make an advisory recommendation to the Board of Trustees if we have any preference over the options?
Do we have to wait for the vote?
I understand.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to read both reports and then we can discuss them and
Yes.
then we can come to an agreement and make a motion. That's
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, all right, great. All right, Dan, my next one was any updates to, I know the comprehensive plan. Did Neil submit his revised comprehensive plan to you and did the board review it?
I'm sorry, did Neil submit? I think the current latest version of the plan is available online at planvom.org. It is the subject of the current public hearings before the Board of Trustees.
I think they closed it last night.
Yep. As far as that process, the board has adjourned the public hearing until July 10th. There are several items that they still require in order to make their decision and move forward. The first is we need the commentary from the Westchester County Department of Planning. That's, per law, we had to present this to the county. That meeting was held several weeks ago. We have not received the official response from the county, although what I have been told off the record by, well, what our planner was told by the county was that They liked, the plan, and, they seem very supportive of it. The second administrative item is a consistency review. It is, with the Harbor and Coastal Zone Management Commission right now. Uh, Per our code, they have 30 days in which to, make their advisory recommendation after referral. My understanding is that, they will likely ask for 60 days. That has not been communicated to the board yet. And the board can't, provide an extension to them until they've actually requested something. So that's kind of where we stand with that. If there are specific comments that you have on the plan, you can certainly submit them to, Neil Desai from Hardesty in Hanover, or through the website, or, we have our village planner, Greg Cutler, and you can, make those comments to him as well. But I believe you should have seen the final version, or at least have access to the final version. I believe it will incorporate any comments that the committee has made, prior to the final draft being developed. So, but again, I would just, the public hearing process is ongoing. The plan is available, the current version of the plan is available online, planvom.org. I think we have a link on our website, so, if you have, a couple of hours, or, the time, just, take a look at it and see how it, meets with the committee's expectations.
Okay, so I think this is important for our committee because we made those recommendations, right? A, we need to know whether they got incorporated in them, because this can be a driver of code changes, right? If it's in there to say that, they're recommending in the comprehensive plan that we upgrade heightened stormwater regulations, that would be a big plus for us.
But wasn't that one of our
Right,
requests?
but is it in the plan?
Yeah, okay, I mean,
I believe so.
What's the
All of it,
website where?
Planvom.org.
I think it was.
I think it was.
Like-
MVOM.org.
Yeah, I will, admit to the fact that I have not memorized, all several hundred pages of the plan.
So.
I believe it was because all the recommendations that were given to Mr. Desai was put in, even to like the last minute, or we received just some new ones recently. So they were all,
So why don't we do this? Let's look at the plan, and if there's something we want me to add or think it's not in there, email me individually. And then I'll send them to you, Leilani, okay?
blessings.
What was the, website?
The
VOM.
plan, no, plan.
planvom.org.
would there be a specific section for where it'll
You should be.
be all mixed in there?
Yeah.
Like that, we can kind of maybe circulate it between,
I think it was all one spot.
it's all one spot, okay?
Yeah.
If somebody can maybe find it and then,
I'm looking, I can say.
yeah, and then send it.
So it is chapter 5.
So just be noted,
the
it's
summary.
chapter five,
Yeah,
Bernie, chapter 5
Chapter 5, okay.
of the plan.
Okay. And it's titled Environmental Protection, Open Space and Flood Resilience.
What was the section?
Plan. VOM.org.
All right, Dan, the next one was, we were trying to have that follow-up meeting with the Thruway Authority. Did you hear any updates on that one?
Yeah, I spoke with the Thruway Authority Monday or yesterday. They are likewise waiting for the final draft, or the draft, the final version of the SLR reports. But at the same time, they are looking at the clover leaves and their potential for retention.
All right, so this is another reason to push DEC on the SLR report.
Yeah, I mean, and that'll kind of be a constant theme among several of the items that you've asked for updates on.
Okay.
Did they put a silt fence up?
I don't know, I'll,
See a lot of
Hey,
trucks
come on, I mean, it's stockpile 101. Give me a break.
Bernie, I didn't know that you were, something that was asked for.
I
I
had a mid-day, actually.
inspect the proof release every day.
There are more trucks than.
They could, because Dan, they claim to stop by the site and claim to be, you know, and claim to be going by DEC regulation, which is BS in my, you know, book.
Bernie,
Yeah.
I don't drive by the site every day. The first time I heard this question was about 30 seconds ago when you asked.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't have an answer for you.
No, because I had emailed, I don't know if you were on the email chain.
Yeah, I probably wasn't. That's why I'm.
Okay,
so we know.
Question.
So I can update everyone if you don't mind, Dan.
Okay.
So I don't know who's on the email chain. I don't know if you were on the email chain,
You always-
but they put a piece of silt fence by the construction trucks. They didn't touch the mound of dirt, the mountain of dirt. So Jerry had been going back and forth with, I think, just a couple of us. Kate was involved too. And Jerry had said he has tried to get in touch with them 3 times with no response. That was the email from Jerry. So I waited a week and I said, have you heard from everyone? And no one has answered. So I wrote in the email, when can I call the DEC to come down on the Thruway Authority on their DEC violations? No silt fence, it's spilling into the river, we're spending a lot of money. So Lisa Urban had got back to me and she said, they're waiting for a report. I said, fine, that's fine. But ask them about the other silt fence on the mountain of dirt, because Mamaroneck is spending $1.3 million to clean the rivers, and the mountain of dirt is spilling directly into the river. So she had got in touch with Mr. Gold, I think his name is.
Todd Gold. He's the person I spoke with. Yeah.
Okay. So that's why I asked if they had the second silt fence. And then I said that I told Lisa that Jerry was out of the office for a couple of weeks and to get in touch with Gino. She did get in touch with Gino, and Gino was going to look into if they had the silt fence and the proper runoff measures for the mountain. And that's the last that I heard from it.
Okay.
So,
I'll talk to Gino tomorrow.
okay, so ask Gino that question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Boston Road Bridge, I don't think we need an update on that. Waverly Avenue is delay in the closing of the bridge, Dan, is that true?
Well, so let me
Email to that.
go back to, so as far as Post Road, that bridge should be complete by the end of the year with minor punch list stuff for early 2024. As far as Waverly Avenue Bridge, I received an email from the town earlier.
Awesome.
The earliest they will close the bridge down will be July 12th, after July 17th. That's the earliest date.
Dan, I can actually also provide information on that. We met with not only the village police, but also members of the town about this, and they reassured the IABC and the Industrial Advisory Business Commission that they wouldn't just close the bridge down to close it. In essence, like they did back on the Berry Avenue Bridge when it was closed for weeks, nothing was touched. They're gonna close it when actually work will be done. Now, some of that work may be underneath first with Joint Waterworks and Con Ed, but they were not going to just close it to, because that was the day. So that we received more reassurance on that, which is nice.
And that's possibly why the pushback is, because if they would have closed it July 1st, they've just been closed and nobody's working on it, so that's.
Yeah.
They're just being mindful,
Yeah,
and we have to do a better job at, well, we just found out about today, but possibly telling the community that you have another few weeks.
Right, I know
Okay.
I know the industrial businesses have been advised this, I don't know on a more macro.
Well, just found out today, so maybe I'll ask Robert to send out a blast.
Yeah.
I'm posting.
Yeah, I had reported last night that, believe that as of last night, I said it was not gonna be at least until the 5th. And then today I got another email saying the 17th, so I let the board know.
Are they also waiting for the SLR report, the town, for
No,
that bridge?
no. They are ready to go. I mean, this is,
And they have a deadline, Dan. If they don't get shoveled to the ground, they lose that money. So.
they have they have a contract with the state DOT for the grant funding.
What's the deadline?
I think they have
July.
Erie 4
Like
years
tomorrow.
when the original grant was awarded until to get the
That's why they had to.
yeah.
That's why, and if it's just put a stake in the ground, just put a nail in the ground and then keep the fence, keep the bridge. I'm sorry, Dan, I didn't mean to interject. There was a question saying how soon was the deadline? And I think it was, we were on the eve of it. And someone had actually even suggested just putting a stake in the ground. Don't close the bridge just because you have to close it.
So, the grant program that the town got is the same grant program that we got for Hillside Avenue Bridge. So there is what the DOT says the deadlines are, and then what the deadlines wind up being because the DOT wastes a lot of time. So the DOT says you have 4 years from the date of the contract being signed and to get everything done. So the town signed their contract in 2019. You are in 2023. That bridge is not going to be done in the next couple of months. So the contract term has been extended by the state, probably for like another 2 years, which is what happened with us. I mean, our project, we got our grant in 2017. We didn't even start construction until 2021. So, you know, we got the extensions that we needed. The town is getting the extensions they need because the DOT isn't going to punish the municipalities for the delays in getting things done that are caused by the DOT. It's kind of like, when the bully, takes your hand and hits you in the face and says, stop punching yourself. The DOT is often the reason why these things get delayed.
Okay. Thank you.
So speaking of the Waverly Avenue Bridge, we sent the resolution to the Board of Trustees, I think it was last month, about flooding along Sheldrake, and that was one of the points in that.
Well,
So-
you got it. I know you have a good update.
Oh, about the Waverly Avenue.
Not just Waverly
I
Avenue, but
know.
industrial,
Hold on.
which, yes.
Let me find
So, do
it.
we want to talk about that now, or just finish the other few updates?
If you finish your updates while I find it.
All right.
And thank you for,
And just before you go, the EV stations that were proposed in the Jefferson lot, we were a bit concerned because the proposal with the tweaks from the Army Corps is that, that's gonna be kind of a floodable lot, meaning that the water can rise in there. So what's the status of those electric vehicle charging stations in Jefferson Park?
they're not gonna go in.
Still working on that. That's not happening.
So on hold, would you say?
Well, I wouldn't say on hold, but it's,
We don't think that the project is going through, right?
I can't answer that question. right now.
Okay.
I'll put hold question mark.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought I answered that last meeting.
I got one other. Burn on the Mariner Gibbs School. Remember you went.
Maybe
to
I
that- their
got
meeting?
the answer.
Yeah.
What was the resolution of that?
Okay, I try to email Carolina, but I guess it's disarray over there or something. Because I'm trying to find out what if because they're they're trying to get 2 outdoor classrooms. They're trying to put 2 outdoor classrooms, which is expanding their footprint.
You like the trailers?
I don't know
We
what
don't
they're
know.
doing. It's probably a trailer.
Bernie, let me ask you a question, if I may, is this part of what transpired in Ida, or did this start even before COVID when they were trying to get more classroom outdoor?
No. I started this.
Okay.
I started this a couple months ago.
Okay.
No, I mean, it was their
Me and
idea,
Patty.
the school's idea of it.
What?
We're just hearing about it. We're just hearing about the trailers, the outdoor
Trailer,
classroom.
okay, so I heard other trying to get kids out.
All right, let me bring you up to date.
I just say
So
one,
me and Patty live near the
Hold
school.
on.
What's Dan trying to say?
Go ahead,
I'm
Dan.
sorry.
in terms of school construction, that is not an activity that's regulated by the village.
Okay.
That's regulated by the New York State Education Department. That's who regulates activity for schools. So the village has no role whatsoever in the construction activity at schools.
Right,
Have to
Okay.
go after
but
the
we
school
were trying to, Bernie was trying to point them in the right direction.
What was Bernie's idea?
Bernie's idea was whatever they were gonna do, to put 2 feet of gravel in, so that the water drains down and it doesn't run right off. That's what I remember. you speaking
It
about.
started like this. Me and Patty live behind American after school, and we've been talking. I was thinking, because I drive past it every day, that they don't have any floods, they don't have any stormwater management. They never did, they never had it, they never, when they did the addition, there's nothing, they actually filled in the old playground, which was below street level, that actually took on some water. And now it's flat and everything runs into the Ralph Avenue River. So me and Patty wrote a letter or an email to them and asking them, they came back and said that they were gonna put 1,000 gallon. What was it called?
Detention base.
No, it was,
They didn't say they were gonna put anything.
yeah, they wrote that they were gonna put 2,000 gallon. They called it's something, it's not dry wells, it's part of a,
Caltech?
no, it's part of
A cistern?
no, septic system.
Okay.
So it's part of a septic system, the tank. And it goes into a tank and it leaches out. They said they were gonna put 2 of them in. When they were going to install 2 outdoor classrooms. So I said, well, you're increasing your footprint of the building. So that's when I spoke to Seamus at the planning board and asked him if they needed a permit. I was trying to go through channels, because then I was trying to email Carolina about if they had to go through there, but you answered my question, so we don't have.
The only problem, the pension basins in is they're on the aquifer, so it's just to make the aquifer go up, right? But there's less room for the aquifer to be.
Well, yeah,
If you were gonna get, I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying, by putting 2 big detention basins, that's right on the aquifer, so these are the
Yeah.
aquifers is gonna rise quicker, because there's gonna be less room for the aquifer to go. So-
Well, I saw Gino on my street, and their roof system spills onto the ground. Doesn't even come into a leader and go
Gotta get rid of the
anywhere.
water.
If you wanted to get advocates in that area, I would get the parents of the Romantic Avenue School to join because let the parents know because Romantic Avenue School has flooded one too many times, and they have not done anything, school district, in terms of fixing that building or having
Yes.
anything that they can release the water, because with either that water was sitting for a very long time and they had a hard time getting it out. So I don't know how they put the students back in so quickly and without, good air to breathe. So I would, if I was to advocate for it, I would get the parents who are parents of that school district, of that school's, that particular school, to be on your side and to show up at board meetings and demand that they do a better job at fixing that school. And then that will help with the whole.
Yes,
You know,
yes,
Who is it
part
from
that you're
the state?
advocating.
Who is it from the state, Jen, again, that?
Well, it's New York State Education Department.
Thank you.
Yeah,
But
but I
you
would
need a
start
backing.
local, I would start,
But you need a backing, and that backing, and once you get and
Buy-in.
once the parents, the buy-in from the parents, and they would
Yeah.
buy-in, because that is the air that the children are breathing.
I agree.
well, they were receptive on what we were asking them to do, and they were like, yeah, we'll put 2 big dry wells in. I went to the board, to the school board meeting.
But you need to get more traction.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Well, I've been a little laxed on it, to be
No,
honest
it's
with you,
okay.
because we've been doing
I get it,
several
but
different
I'm
things.
giving you,
Yeah,
giving you
okay.
advice on how.
Well, I
to work
wanted
with
to
this.
talk with,
Chefs.
no, she's on the board. She
And
lived on,
train,
yes,
and train.
and Laura from the WNA was trying to get in touch with her and trying to get her
To get the
to
support.
get her on and to get her support, and then we were gonna go down that road.
Well, if
They-
you need to speak with Andrew, I can connect with them.
Okay, that'd be good. Because, I'm not done with them yet.
Okay.
I'm not giving up on that so far because
I do have
they
one,
have a huge piece of property and they have a huge piece of property to put stormwater management there. So they have no excuse.
so, I do have one question, Bernie. So, Gino, was talking with me today, and specifically about the outdoor classes that that the school construct.
Well, yeah, well, no, it was a couple of weeks ago I saw it and I was
Well,
just,
he was talking to me today about it.
oh, okay.
He doesn't know that some of the stormwater management techniques that the school is incorporating in relation to those outdoor classrooms. Can you just shoot me and him an email just saying what you're aware of? Because he was going to talk to the school about what type of things that they could do if they wanted.
Okay. Well, he actually said to me that he would definitely be a voice and be someone that we can add on the emails. and it would be
Bernie,
actually
it's
good,
fair
but
to
I
say
just-
that this is
yeah.
gonna be your thing.
Yeah.
You're gonna take it up, the two of you. I agree that you definitely need to
Yeah.
get the parents. There's no question they would be behind it, and then,
Okay.
boom.
Okay, so
That's good.
Dan, I think you can feel free to go if you want.
Wait, let Milani, and I just want, Dan, just stick around for a second, because I know that this is really good news. It would in fact watch it develop up primarily also the 72 acres that makes up the industrial area.
So was this in response to my question about the motions?
This is regarding the studies that were done in terms of stormwater and the drainage and the hydraulic models and everything else. So I'm gonna read this email, okay?
So this is the studies, surface stormwater.
Also
flow.
infrastructure, also.
Who's this from?
This is from Gino.
Okay.
Okay, he says, we have two proposals from Keller Sessions, one for flood mitigation study in the industrial Washingtonville areas that we have ARPA money for the study, and one for engineering services for the design of storm drains in the same area. These were put on hold until we received the hydraulic models from SLR. That the DC's consultant will be releasing a Marine Shell Drake study, river study soon, hopefully. He said we did receive the hydraulic models, which have been sent to our consultants, not only for this project, but for the Tompkins Avenue Bridge and the larger dredging project. Once Keller Sessions completes a flood study, they will be able to determine if storm drains are a benefit in these areas, as well as determine the appropriate design storm event.
That goes back to what you were talking about. What are we using? What's the benchmark? Whether it should be increased or reduced.
And I think that's what Laura was talking about, the previous in terms of how she felt, and I guess there was other people who were agreeing how the water shifted. And so I have been talking, I talked to Gino last night about the work that they just finished on Center Avenue and what is coming up, the sewer draining, because what they just finished was the sewer replacements, I believe. I think. Is that correct, Dan?
There was sanitary sewer replacement.
Sanitary, thank you. And there's another project coming up, and I was just worried about the repavement of the road and why are we repaving to repave? But he said there's another study coming through, and that's why he sent me that this morning. And he did say that he spoke to you guys either this morning or this afternoon. So this is good news that whatever study that is coming down the pipeline that there's already funding for, that it is going to study and make that connection.
And, which is great, it's not just focused on Washingtonville or just industrial, they're expanding it. So, because one really does affect the other.
Yeah.
We're joined at the hip. And
So that's a shelter then too.
exactly, and even more importantly, which I think is inconsistent, Dan, because you're Mr. Grant man and no one gets grants and hunts them down better than you do. We were encouraged by Shelley Mayor Otis and Parker recently met with IABC and said that there are additional funds that
Yes.
are indeed available for additional studies on infrastructure And if this study did not cover the entire industrial area, that our board of trustees, we as a committee can't, but our elected officials can't. So there are funds and they encouraged us to do that. But this is great. This is
So
really-
to coincide with what you were just saying in terms of the municipalities and the funding that is coming through or that they have. I think it was said last night at the meeting, like what we're trying to do is work with other municipalities to make sure that we are all, because I think they also said, you know, if we're joint, almost like joint at the hip with this mission to say we need to fix our communities, that is more, it is a greater chance of us getting that money on top of the committees, because this will go back to a conversation that we had, me and Tony, in terms of the committees. Harrison has their own flood mitigation committee because of Ida. There's other communities that have, so we can do our part on our municipality level, but I think you guys as residents can do your part in joining and having these conversations with the other
We've
committees.
actually, it's funny that you said that because I remember.
I know you guys, because I met somebody last weekend at a forum. Didn't have to do with flooding, but she was telling me about that Harrison started theirs and that she was in connection with Peggy, and it was Peggy. And I said, well, Peggy's not on the committee anymore. So, but she was a person that was once connected. And I think we need to start building those
I
relationships
think it'd be
again.
great. I mean, summer, everyone's away and elsewhere, but I think come September, October, exactly in the same vein what you're just speaking. We should reach out to Harris. We should reach out to Large Mine. We should reach out to Town of Marion, because I think every municipality does. And we should try to get together.
It will also help with that whole thing about, you know, other waters are coming into it, and also, and then development. And you know, how the development is affecting everybody. So that this is the way that we could all mobilize together.
I agree.
If I can just add, at the IABC meeting, it was said
So,
numerous times by Shelley Mayer, Steve Otis, and Catherine Parker. They all said numerous times, and you can tell the way they were saying it is, if you do not get together with other communities, you're not going to get grants.
Yeah.
They didn't come out and say it, but that was definitely
So that's
in the air.
something, and I would,
Everybody needs to.
Tony, if you need sort of like individuals to help put that together, or I would definitely participate in that, in reaching out
Well,
to.
this is a question for Dan. What is this Renaissance funding? That's something where the community, the municipalities get together and they give them all money to all together do one project that helps everyone, right?
and we do have a long history of working together, and you know, just for some, I don't want to, you know, get too off the tracks here, but back in the late 1990s, a bunch of communities in our overall watershed formed a group called the Long Island Sound Watershed Intermunicipal Council. And the person who was the chair of that was former town councilwoman Phyllis Whitner, who I don't know if any of you ever met Phyllis, but she was a force of nature. And she really was able to keep us organized, and we've been successful in getting several grant programs, one of which was the creation of a regional stormwater management district. And you know, we'd gone a long way, and that kind of fell by the wayside. And you know, Phyllis, you know, at some point was, you know, just she couldn't do the work anymore. You know, she was ill and, you know, resigned, and then, you know, she passed away. Catherine Parker's office had been trying to, we had been meeting several times last year to kind of resuscitate that organization, to have us really all be able to work together on a regional basis again, and, you know, attack our flooding and our water quality issues on a regional basis, because you know, the water that winds up in Mamaroneck doesn't start in Mamaroneck. And the you know, the example I always used to enjoy talking about in my former life was, you know, if you think about Weaver Street, Route 125, one side's in Scarsdale, one side's in New Rochelle. One side is called the Queen City of the Sound. You can't tell me that one municipality does not have a responsibility to help another municipality out.
Yeah, well, that's.
Yeah.
We're also talking about there'll be just amongst Mamaroneck, all of us gonna get together, all the different agencies, like,
Yeah.
I know that's something we have actually put it together. I mean, you know where that is, that proposal is?
We were talking about that.
Getting the
Together with
committees
other
together,
committees.
Yeah,
like the planning and the zoning.
Something.
Okay, all right.
I put it on the agenda last, it was supposed to be said, but things went for a long time. And I will make sure that I push it through. There was something else that I needed to talk about in terms of times of essence, so that's why I pushed that instead of that,
All
so
right.
Because it is kind of related, I guess.
it is
Yeah.
definitely related,
So-
and just.
Just going full circle. Paul, let's reach out to our neighbors, their committees, let's put it together. Let's start getting more grants.
Well, that's what I'm getting
I'll
at,
continue to
because.
encourage the board to speak to.
Okay, I mean, that's, Tony, let's just,
It's appropriate for this committee to have a resolution, to put in motion, the revival of this regional, organization. I mean, the structure had been there, it was working, it gives its format. Should we just say that we want this to happen? Right? Whether officially or unofficially, but just to be not sitting waiting for it to happen, be more proactive.
Well, yeah, you can, and you guys could possibly kind of do that during the summers, if you could try to reach out to some people and to start to see where they're at.
With that, that council would have to be a municipal official. So I tried.
does someone need to be, for example, just be present, or do they have to
No, I-
initiate the contact?
I've tried to get on it or be on it, and I wasn't allowed. So I think, Dan, you probably know this, either you or any of you or Jerry part of that Liswick thing?
Or Gino.
I mean, back when it was, running organization, I mean, I've been very involved with Liswick, when it was active. I don't know if you know Elizabeth or Liz Atkinson over in the town. She's the conservation officer. She was actually the person who was kind of running Liswick on a day-to-day basis. But I was very involved with it, since I started in government back in, late 2001. I can follow up with Catherine Parker's office to see where we stand with it. There's some other resources we may want to take advantage of, to see if they can help us. I know Pace University through their land use law center was, really quite integral in getting that set up in the first place. But we can follow up on that.
All right, so Dan, I'm gonna add that to the monthly updates, right? The Liswick thing, because I think, I know Catherine Park has been very in favor of that group. And I think, so let's start with that. You please see where it is. And then I think in September, if it's not going anyplace, we'll put a motion together.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Reason why I brought up the Renaissance funding, Dan, is because they say that they want everyone to get together. So I've been saying since 2007 that the reservoir is a problem.
Wait, the reservoir, which
The
one?
reservoir,
In Larchmont.
no,
Oh.
in Mamaroneck.
Okay, you said, yeah, okay.
Okay. So Catherine Parker is telling everyone we have money and they want everyone to get together. This is a perfect opportunity for Mamaroneck to steamhead this Renaissance funding. White Plains, Scarsdale, Harrison, town of Mamaroneck, to fix the Mamaroneck Reservoir. Isn't this a perfect, isn't it? Now, when I heard that she said that, I said, okay, so then that's the go, that's the green light for us to start the ball rolling on the reservoir. Because the reservoir is gonna protect us along with the dam. So I don't think this should fall by the wayside, this Renaissance funding. And what Catherine Parker is saying, be between the lines here, everyone needs to get together.
So
I can talk with our grant writers about this.
This is important, Dan, really important.
Didn't we ask
I agree, Bernie.
didn't we ask the board to have GHD study the reservoir?
No, they did not, but SLR, I asked them if they were going to do it, if they were gonna study the reservoir.
I mean, we
And I
still
got
have-
a kind of a
Right, and I
wishy-washy answer.
Sorry, and in the preliminary report we saw, they hadn't studied that, I don't think.
No,
I think anybody studied it.
But we need to study it.
no, of course, but when Patty told me that Catherine Parker and Steve and Shelley were saying, there's money out there and we need all the municipalities to come together. So the reservoir has been pointing fingers this way, not me. So it's Harrison, it's this, it's that, it's this. So this is perfect opportunity for Harrison to make good on all the building they've done. White Plains for all the building they've done. There's money out there. I think this is extremely, extremely important, like a huge thing. It's just even huger than the dam right now that they're saying this. And that's what, is that what she's not saying?
So,
Or
okay,
is
so,
that what she's not telling
all right,
us?
so what do we need? What do we need? I'm in perfect agreement. To me, that area, because there's on the west side of the Mariner here, there's a whole, you could enhance that and increase, improve huge. Yeah, it's huge, it's huge. So, okay, so, but almost anything like this, you need to have the engineers say blah, 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 blah. So should we be asking for, why don't we put a motion together saying, we would like to study the ASAP. Can you look into Renaissance funding to fund it?
Well, let's see what SLR comes back with their study. No, I know, but I'm not look, I think should be done. I think that the reservoir has overgrown. I think the capacity to hold, I think it could be triple the holding capacity that it is now. But that's not me. They're not gonna listen to someone who, me, I'm not an H&H guy. So I'm waiting to see what SLR comes back with. And if SLR did the right, if SLR actually did the right study to figure it out that way.
But from our point of view, is this intermunicipal organization, this is the vehicle to make that happen? Because wouldn't it include a lot of the interested parties?
Well, I agree with Bernie that if SLR did the study correctly, they're gonna come back and say, we may not agree with what they say, but.
But did they do it the way we think they should have done the study?
So
That's the problem.
Once we have that study, then we either have to say, well, you didn't do it right, or you didn't do it adequately, and get another study.
Yeah.
Or get another engineer.
I mean, I think we can have some kind of proposal for them to study the reservoir, because nobody's studying the reservoir now. So if we want to put it up to the Board of Trustees that we recommend that the reservoir solutions for the reservoir get studied, I think that would make some sense.
Well, you know what, if I can just interject a second, because the reservoir does sound like a fresh topic. I know we've discussed in the past, but a lot of attention has been focused on dam, Sheldrake, Bridget. This is actually something new, and
Because
in
of
addition
that,
to that, it's something that's existing. You don't have to build it. You just have to make it better and maybe increase and like you said, you're not impacting it. That's all nature. It's land. It's preserved reservation that it can't be developed. So you're taking land that's already, so I guess my point is it's practical. So let's go with it and
well,
see where it goes.
that's why when I heard about the Renaissance funding, that
To
I
me, it
said,
seems
I
more
said,
like a
okay.
low hanging fruit
Yeah.
than something that is require engineer. Well, of course you're gonna need, but it's already there,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
My understanding is there's some quality of the soil issues.
toxic.
But
Yeah.
everybody says that. The thing,
It's gotta be
everybody
studied.
who's my age
Gotta
say, it was a huge resource. Okay, so.
But does the village have adequate standing to do that? Or should we be looking to this regional authority to do it?
I think you should look at the regional.
yeah, that's
They're
the perfect opportunity.
But that comes from us working with Harrison,
Yeah.
town of Amerenik, even Scarsdale.
Okay, hold on, let me put another thing on my list. Dam, school, now we'll do the reservoir now.
No, That's the collective. That's the collective.
I would be more than happy to
Yeah.
try and start being.
She said, she's Catherine Parker. Is that what now she said? I wasn't at the meeting, but that's what she,
They, all
that's
three
what,
of
that's
them
what she
said,
said.
but
So
basically, you want
that's-
something,
is
we
highly
do it
determined.
together.
So the
And that-
process, I'm sorry,
I'm
but
sorry.
I think the next process should be that as a group, everybody try to reach out to the different different towns. If they have a flood mitigation committee similar, reach out to the head person, ask them if they're interested. On my level, we'll be doing it through the municipality way, the board's way, and as well as trying to connect our inter-committee board.
Okay. So, this is not a endorsement. This is not an endorsement, but, Nora brought up the interested party for Harrison.
Yes,
And she was talking about how are we gonna do this interested party thing? And they got Greg Cutler involved.
yes, so that.
So maybe for this,
No, no, you
yeah,
have to
maybe
finish.
we get Greg Cutler in on this.
Well, Greg has to give us, and that's something I'm emailing him back and emailing to see where he was at with that, because he was following up with that last thing that happened through the Harrison development. But we still, as a board, have to discuss what does that plan look like.
Yeah.
When the interested party does come up.
But I think this intertwines with the interested party thing
No, I
and
know,
working
but
together to get
Yes, but it's
a
still-
reservoir, right? I don't.
it all is connected, but I'm
Yeah.
saying like, next step homework. I have my homework, y'all got yours.
Okay.
What I would
So-
suggest,
so Here's another piece of paper. This is Steve
Okay,
brought up,
awesome.
right? It's the aquifer, right? And to me, this is another unknown that really we need an engineering study for. There you go. We let Dave go?
I think one
No,
question-
no, it didn't go.
Oh,
It didn't go.
okay,
Oh, no, I just have, one of the items on the updates you was Mamaroneck Avenue School area, was that?
Yeah, no, we're pretty much done with updates, and so we're done with updates. We appreciate you being on. Have a good evening. How about that?
The drainage project we're taken care of by Bernie's house. Their drainage repairs.
I didn't hear, say that again?
Doing the drainage repairs on Ralph and
Oh, let's bring up the update.
Ralph and Gertrude. I don't know if that was something, when you said Mamaroneck Avenue, I didn't know if you were talking about that project.
No,
Oh, no.
no, we're talking about the school.
Okay.
You're done, Dan. Thank you.
Thank you.
You can
Dan,
stay on
thank you
if you
so,
want.
thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
This is
so much
great.
for representing us.
Tony, do you have a list of the committees, flood mitigation committees of other?
The only one I know is Harris. And when Peggy and I met with them, it was still not an official committee. And that was 3 years after they got started.
So maybe I will take it upon myself to find out the other villages or meetings,
That would be great.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, that would be great.
and I'll send a list to everybody.
Fine, thank you.
Okay.
All right, so going back to, I think, Bernie, that as far as I feel, the reservoir and the water on the Saxon Wood side is an unknown. I think it needs a decent study. There's all this money out there, let's study it.
Hopefully SLR did a
Yeah, but
report on it.
I don't think that their study is going to be what we need for
No,
the reservoir
that's
stuff.
because when
It's
they
going
gave
to
us
be
the
the whole-
preview, it wasn't even on there. I think they ignored it.
It's going to be the whole watershed,
Okay.
whether it includes it or not,
All right.
you know, it will be.
We have the aqueduct. That's always questions of what's happening.
We have the aquifer, not the aqueduct.
Mentioned this, it was a false alarm last time.
Okay.
Everyone have a wonderful fourth.
Me
Okay.
too.
Oh,
You
wait,
too.
I'll see you in August, right,
Sounds
we
good.
decided. Great
Yeah,
job.
maybe we
Great
want to do
job.
something though, like not the end of August, maybe mid-August, this place kind of between, but if we can't do July, do mid-August.
Say it again.
When we're meeting in August, right?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm saying, like I said, at the end, maybe we should do in the middle.
Well, how about we do the meet at the carnival? Cotton candy?
There you go.
No, the
I think
carnival
we should
this
do the
week.
end of August.
So I'm gonna say like, we
Yeah.
divide, maybe we don't.
Yeah, all right.
Okay, we can talk-
Thank you.
Well, yeah, all right, well,
And Tony, I
I'll
have to
say,
leave at
if we have
10
somebody
minutes
has to
to
miss.
9.
it's
Okay.
It's no big deal.
It's not-
Something to
it's
talk
also
about.
election night.
All right, good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night, you, good night.
So what I'm saying here is this aqueduct, we really don't know how to solve this aqueduct problem.
I prefer.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we go to
Okay. So
Get a lot.
here's my suggestion. We put a motion together requesting that the aquifer and the reservoir and the Saxon Wood Slate be studied for their ability to, their impact on flooding in Mamaroneck and their ability to decrease flooding. Or is the board so sick of our motions that they just ignore us?
No, I think we have to keep on giving
Yeah.
motions for every.
Yeah,
project
we
that's
have,
out
yeah,
there.
we have to.
Okay, so I think we need an engineering study on the aquifer. I don't know how to solve the problem. I mean, they used to draw it down, right? We have an aquifer at work. We used to draw the water out of it. We don't anymore.
And this has not been brought up before, has,
No, we don't have a study, to my knowledge, on the aquifer.
no, I didn't say
We brought
this
it up.
funny, but it brought it up, and then, and I wonder. if this-
I brought it up.
But we haven't done it officially relative to the board.
Did you mention it to Neil? Like this
No, it
is
didn't go this
something-
far. I actually, who I mentioned it to was to Tom Murphy and Jerry, when they were doing the sewer pipes in the flats. I said, since you're already opening up the ground, why don't you put some kind of like French drains in it, so the water, when the water's coming up, the water can go out. And they were just like baffled.
I'm not looking, I'm not,
Why would you
yeah, I'm not
stop by the
looking. I
French
can't
drains?
see
That's
that, I'm
From
looking
what
at
I'm
the
hearing,
the
it's
comp plan and I don't see that.
No, it's not in
In
there.
there,
Yeah, I mean, I brought it up to people in the past and
Okay, so then add that
This
to,
committee
as
has never done anything officially about it.
a- okay,
Either one.
let's,
The car wash,
Mhm.
Dippin's Car Wash.
Yeah.
I think draws from the,
okay. Yeah.
so they have I believe
So
they
the
have
more
a well.
process then.
I believe they have a well. I'm wondering if the other car wash has a well too.
the one on.
And there's funding,
I wouldn't
The
be
one
in
on
it, though.
Olmsted?
yeah, the one on all,
They
because
would-
because that's right there.
I think they wouldn't, they're not in it though. They're not in the aquifer, it's on the, it's not there.
It's not there. I had a question about the mapping of the aquifer.
Yeah.
On your mapping.
Mhm.
I thought that the aquifer connected with the Long Island Sound. It kind of all of the groundwater and then connected.
I just got this from the map village. From
Okay.
Generally,
I didn't know it was that shape either, because when I was talking to Peggy, she said it was really by where you are, the aquifer, because obviously it's
It's
much
huge.
bigger. Yeah, it's much bigger than I think I knew it was.
usually
get on
Bernie,
this.
they're really an underground lake. They're a lake and it's self-contained.
Yeah.
Water goes in, water comes out. You can draw water, they do, but it's an underground lake.
Yeah.
But our concern, among other things, is that when the aquifer comes up, it feeds the rivers. The rivers are its primary, yes, over time, it does flow. All aquifers flow, but that's a slow process. But when the water gets up to the level of the rivers, its easiest place to flow is in the river. So what happens is, when the rivers are getting full is when the aquifer is full and it's feeding in the rivers too. So it has potential to be a major source of flow. We're looking upriver, we're looking at reservoirs and stuff. But the aquifer has the potential to be a major source of water into the rivers.
Yeah, and that's why people are getting basement flooding. Like the people here last time, they said, oh, we're getting basement flooding,
Yes.
and that's from the aquifer.
Even people who live on high ground on the parkway,
Mhm.
they have seepage.
But that's
In
not
the-
the,
Oh,
no, the
Yeah.
aquifer is not in the parkway.
Yeah, it is. That's one of the methods.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm trying to pull that up. I
Parkway?
can't get
Yeah.
it in. See, that's,
The parkway's
no,
over
no,
here.
this is
Parkway's
95,
over here. What parkway do you mean?
95.
95.
So I'm talking about, because that's not the parkway.
Oh, you mean the park?
You're talking about the
Oh,
parkway,
oh,
sorry.
I thought- Okay.
I'm like,
I think
yeah,
the parkway is
I think
95, yeah. It doesn't go there. That's another meeting.
Yeah, that's the difference. Wait a minute.
but all areas have groundwater issues. Some have
Yes,
no
it's not
no
the aquifer.
groundwater issues.
As far
And
as
it
we know.
depends on the rock structure underneath. You know, Brook Street,
Yeah.
you know, Brook Street.
Yeah.
Do you know why Brook Street is named Brook Street?
Because it was-
There was a brook. So guess what happens when they develop the area and fill it all in? Guess what happened to that water? When it rains, it gets in my cellar because that's a nice empty reservoir space.
It's the same
for
thing
the-
where we are. We
Of
have a
course, no,
brook.
it's the same thing, even though I may not be in the map of the aquifer, we saw the same phenomenon.
Mhm.
Yeah, like where I live, I mean, I'm at the bottom of the hills in Florence Street, and matter of fact, I just had a bathroom put in my basement, and they literally like, the cement, right under the cement was the water.
Mhm.
That's how high the
Yeah.
aquifer.
So
It's
how do we know,
groundwater level.
how do we know that this is the actual shape of the aquifer?
was
Is
studied.
it never changing? When was
Yeah,
the study?
I mean, and the state, DEC studies, I think it's DEC, they know these animals.
It mainly has to do with the rock,
they
underlying
never
rock
change?
structure.
Well, very,
The size of
because, and
I don't know
they
anything
used
about
to be what they call sole source drinking water, right? So some communities use it, and when it was that, it was very important, for the quality of the water.
Sure.
Now we all use municipal water. But, I think I don't know if anybody really knows the real science of, how do you stop your basement flooding from an aquifer? I don't know. At any rate,
Mine doesn't flood from an
do we
aquifer.
want to just,
Yeah, 12 pumps.
Maybe it's under my house, maybe it's under yours and not mine.
all right, what else do we have to cover tonight?
So, I mean, what do we want to have a motion?
I don't know, it doesn't seem like we have a lot of
Mine-
interest in a motion.
Yeah, well,
No, I think we have a
I get a
severe
little
interest
groundwater, but.
in whatever it takes to eventually have engineering studies of both the aquifer and, which we probably can't do a lot about, but definitely the reservoir, which we can do a lot about.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have a motion that study the aquifer. I think that's something we have to.
So let's just do a motion to study both.
Both the
agree.
aquifer and the.
Reservoir.
All right, so.
Should there be one or two?
FM,
I think we should probably do two motions, because they're not very separate things.
they are very
They're not
we
related.
if we can get the Renaissance funding to do both.
Well, the thing is about the aquifer, we don't need the Renaissance funding. I mean, it's only Harrison, and that's only the end of it.
But I'm saying, if they're gonna put together a grant proposal for funding, they might as well put both of them together. It's an engineering study.
I just think it's too separate because, it's really, most of this is Mamaroneck. We don't even really need another town to do it. I mean, it does run into Harrison at the very end.
So,
But maybe
so
we'll
all
help
the
with
motion
terms
has
of
to say is
the
we,
things that,
we
getting
feel
that-
we need
get that
studies.
funding now.
Yeah, but before you do that, I mean, you're saying that the DEC studied this already. Is there,
They didn't study the.
No,
aquifer.
they know aquifers in general.
they never studied?
I
this?
don't know.
So how do they know, who knows what this is?
That's what I'm saying.
They've identified them really all over the country.
It's,
These things are.
it's geology.
Can I give an
Yes,
update
yes.
on the school?
I think,
What, Mamaroneck?
MAS.
Oh, you got an email?
Another update?
I know I got a text message.
Oh,
Okay, go ahead.
So I was talking to Andrea and she
Oh.
says, yes, they do plan to, build those outdoor, classrooms outside near the parking lot. And I asked her, did they
Parking lot.
discuss about the, the potential of, adding to flooding in the community? She said yes, and if they're, what they plan on doing is exactly what you said in terms of including drainage. But then I asked, well, do they have anything in plan for the already existing flooding that occurs? And they said no. So that's why I said it will be best for you to get the PTA. So you're not literally going around to different houses in the community, but get the PTA and get also the CRC involved. And if you need help, let me know. And
Well,
but those are the people, listen,
I'm
these
listening.
are the people that you would get in terms of rallying behind you with all of that, because it affects their kids.
so they're basically putting two outdoor classrooms of some sort right in front of me.
that I don't know where they're.
I don't
gonna
know
put it.
exactly
Just
where.
like by the parking lot.
Oh, by the parking lot?
Yes, that was.
Are they temporary or?
Oh, they can't put that on the backside. They have to put that on.
I have no idea what they're gonna do.
Well, that's why I asked, that's why I'm asking the question from Carolina. Do they need a permit from the Mamaroneck? And Seamus
don't.
said that they,
No.
well, Seamus said that they
She
did.
said up
because
against the
of-
building.
Because they are,
It's gonna be up
they're
against,
increasing the footprint.
They're still putting it in the back
it's still in the back, but up
Okay.
against the building.
where it flooded. the worst.
Again.
I We're not taking that on
Well,
you.
that's why I want to get
You tell
into
us
it with them. But
Yeah, I'm not
I
gonna
wanna
tell
get
you.
into it.
that's
No,
why,
sorry.
that's why I reached out to Carolina, but she
get it.
never got back to me. Because if they, but Seamus was from the planning board was saying if they increase their footprint, he thinks that they have to get a permit from Mamaroneck. So if that's the case, then we have to review the permit that they're getting. If they're not, then we have to talk to New York State.
And let me tell
Department,
you something, how
Education
much of an
Department.
uphill battle that is going to be in regards to possibly stopping them from doing something, especially with all this talk about the overcrowding in schools. This is why I'm saying PTA,
Okay, yeah, no,
parent
no.
involvement, so everybody's seeing all sides.
Yes, and it's a great idea, and I'm gonna take that, because you just said it, and it went into my brain and mixed around, and like a scrambled eggs. And then I'm thinking that I missed the opportunity because of this Hampshire
No, you didn't miss it, you didn't miss it.
giving the piece of property, and how everyone's up in arms about them developing there, and I want to go to one of the meetings and say,
You
you're gonna
didn't-
flood Hampshire, and you're flooding here, and you're flooding all of these
You didn't
communities. They
miss-
have to, the Mamaroneck school system has to clean their act up. So,
They've been.
well,
A
no, they
different-
really,
a different day for a different day.
well, they have to clean it up. I mean, right, as far as stormwater management goes.
Well, clearly they don't, because they're just gonna add to the problem even more.
Well,
I might as well just sell my house. What's the
Yeah.
point of fighting this? Apparently, we can't fight the school. They can do whatever they want.
That's not true.
yeah, that's not true. I don't
Well,
think that's
they
true.
Not what
certainly
the
have been. Really?
If somebody has been getting away with things, that's because either the community
Yeah.
didn't know
Yeah,
and they were allowed to do it, and we did not raise enough voices.
correct.
You guys are now you guys are now a voice.
I hear you.
And that's the point. You have a voice. The board obviously is listening. You know, the community is obviously listening. So now we have pressure the school board like y'all pressure
Board's
us.
elected.
Exactly.
They're elected.
They're elected. Do you guys, do you vote in the school board elections?
I sure do.
So that is the reason why we vote the people in
Okay.
for them to listen to our voice.
When are we going, Bert?
And I'm constantly at the.
No,
school board
I'm-
meetings.
And I'm telling you, that was a great idea, and I didn't think about it, to go to the.
Thank you,
PTA.
Bernie.
So,
Everybody heard it.
so when I get out of here, I'm gonna call the PTA, but no, I didn't think of it in that terms. I thought of it, me going to the meeting and, doing what I do.
I'll
But
go with you.
Best with numbers.
that's a very great idea. It's not a very good idea. It's a great idea. And
Okay, well,
that's the way we're gonna go about it. And we're gonna have to make sure that they put it
When
the
it's
right,
When is the building of these new classrooms?
It's
gonna
going-
Now,
it's
you're gonna
coming
have to
soon.
wait until September. Or maybe, I don't know if they meet in August, at the end of August, but you're gonna have to wait until September, their last board meeting.
be?
And also, yeah, I can let you guys know.
I mean, do you know,
No, I don't know when. No, I don't know. when.
Building.
Yeah. I
well,
don't
we
know
can
when.
always email the New York
And-
State Department of Education, right?
Yes, and also be mindful, there's a new superintendent coming in. This is a good opportunity to let him know that at Mamaroneck Avenue Schools,
Okay,
Mamaroneck Avenue School has a voice.
okay. No,
New
that's good.
superintendent coming
That
in.
should be part of the solution. not part of the
And
problem.
Gino's, and we have to involve Gino in this, because Gino said he's all down for being involved, and he thinks he should be involved.
But I find it interesting, because I was watching one of the board meetings where someone got up and was speaking and saying how the enrollment in our schools was going down, and now they are saying they need more room because it's overcrowded, so let's put 2 more classrooms.
The
So
thing is, enrollment
it's
is
true.
enrollment is going down in at MAS, and there's many reasons as to why. A lot of the students who were affected by Ida did not come back or haven't been able to come back. So that could have affected their enrollment. And just with
I understand, but
children growing up, it
So
goes
is it-
up, it fluctuates.
Right, but Patty's saying.
But I'm saying, one person saying it's going down, yet the school is saying we need.
Yeah,
more
that
room.
was saying we're.
But- no, but okay. So then, and it's the
Different
grades,
grades.
because then you get 4 elementary schools coming. The most the overcrowded school is Onyx.
because you got 4 elementary schools coming in at once. And not only back in the day where it used to be 2, 7, and 8, you added 6.
Yes.
So now you're getting all those schools into one small building
But
where
we're
they
talking
really.
about the Marion Avenue School.
But they're not talking about that overcrowding there. And while I don't know really why,
Well, you're
why
putting
they're
2
adding,
more classrooms.
who knows why?
Oh,
But you
okay.
asked that to the school board.
Yeah, we have to add.
This happened in my school, that they went from, like, the grade before my son was 100 kids, my son's grade was 160.
You got,
So they had to accommodate the extra kids, but by the time he graduated, it's down to 120. So
it's the snake away, they've got enrollment bumps that move through.
Yeah.
And the long term is decreases, partly because young families can't afford it.
I was in school in the city, there was 13.
But what do they, but we need to find out what their motive is. Are they building these new classrooms? They're waiting for a new bump, or is there, the bump is there and they're trying to fix the bump?
Yeah, if you as a local resident,
Yeah.
from the flood point of view, if they're gonna do it, they're gonna do it. You just have to
Yeah, we have to
make sure
make
they do
sure.
it right.
Yeah, make sure.
If they're doing with stones, it's about as old as we can do, probably.
Mm.
Well,
Yeah,
I
where
mean,
they put it.
Many times any state building. They're like, even in the city, they can build a state building. They don't have to go by the city building.
Right.
Just look at mine,
Which
it's
is-
on that whole section and they.
Yeah, we have to get together, but this goes back to my building permit. Changing the laws because
Right.
Right, but
you're
that-
putting a structure there, it needs to
Right.
mitigate the flood.
My
You're gonna have
point
to change
is
state
that
law to do
Yes.
that.
The city, the city is so strict, right?
Yeah.
State can come, they put a property right by a school, they go by state standards, not the city
Yeah,
standards.
right, okay.
But you could still, the state now they're all talking about stormwater and flooding.
Yeah,
Okay, guys, what are you're talking that, this side of your mouth, you're saying stop flooding, here you're building a building and you're not putting stormwater retention in.
all right, all right.
No, come on.
Well, that's gonna be, that's another great idea, okay? You're getting my mind going. Let's go back to the.
Let's go back.
Okay.
We do and the reservoir and the west Saxon Woods.
I think you could put reservoir and Saxon Woods together.
Yeah, reservoir is in Saxon.
Yeah, right, but I think there's separate resolutions.
All right, so 2 resolutions. One resolution is gonna say, we feel that the Marinick Reservoir and the Saxon Woods need to be studied to the possibility, capability. How about I'll send it around for enhancing
Flood
stormwater retention, blah, blah, blah. I'll send it around, email me back. So. do I
Flood
have a
control has
motion?
to be in there.
What?
Flood control has to be in
Yeah,
there.
I'll do a draft. Do I have a motion? Someone suggest a motion? How does this work? Someone has to say.
I move that you draft a resolution to address requesting support by the Board of Trustees for obtaining an engineering study for using the reservoir for flood mitigation and retention.
Okay, and Saxon Woods.
I second.
And the Saxon Woods Reservoir.
Aye.
Okay, all right, and what about the aquifer?
Okay, this of course is the reason is different.
Right, Bob?
We
But
don't-
do we have a motion to support engineering study of the aquifer?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, all right, so
So
I'll send you wording on both and just send it back to me. Okay,
I don't know whether it needs any enhancement, but I think the reason we need it is because we really don't know the dynamic of that aquifer relative to our flooding problems.
that's.
And how the aquifer can be proactively managed.
Right, can we
to
draw it,
mitigate
can
it.
we draw it down? That's
Right.
what we're doing.
Can we draw it
It's
down?
very difficult to do.
It
Well,
is.
apparently they used to do it, Pure Foods apparently
Yeah.
used to use it for water, so can they, at dry times, draw it down somehow? And if it goes into the rivers, it goes into the rivers, at least get it out of the aquifer,
That's the question.
if
That's
it's
the question.
possible.
It may turn out that it just doesn't work, but
Right,
we don't know that.
But the reason why I'm asking is who's doing that study with the map, DEC or whatever? Is there someone that we can get into, because someone does this in the state? Or
Well, that's
is it,
what
or is it a
that
federal
should do.
thing? Because
No,
if they do it in the state, can can we get in touch with an aquifer?
I go
Specialist.
back. I'll get it done. They know a guy. Does.
Okay,
they know
so, so why don't we talk to him?
Do you want me to do that before we do the motion?
I think the motion.
Yeah, motion. Yeah, we could look into it at the same time.
Yeah, we can do it at the same
You
time.
can,
But I think if you,
You're not.
like I said, if,
I'll do a little study. of
yeah,
it.
somebody's doing these,
I'll send the.
somebody's
information.
making this map.
I'll send the information. on this.
And make a third one for aqueducts.
All right, do I have a motion to end this meeting?
But hold on, what's the to-dos though, with the resolution for the stormwater regulations, codes? How's
I
that
don't
working?
Oh.
I mean, I suggest that you read, Doreen, Rooney just recently sent an email regarding the. Trying to look at,
email to us?
yeah, she just sent an email. So just keep it in mind, I've just recently shared, since I'm
So,
still reading.
Bernie, we started, I'm sorry. So we sent the motion about stormwater regulations. Then on it,
Yes.
where is that? Where's the up to the board of trustees?
Say that again.
So FMAC sent a motion to the board recommending that stormwater regulations be tightened across the board. So was there a motion made by the board? Is there a process going forward?
I know-
How is this going to be addressed?
So in the last 2 meetings, we did discuss stormwater regulations. That's something that Tom brought up, because that was the email that I sent through. And we are looking with Greg to tighten up those codes. And we're kind of doing it, fortunately, but unfortunately, it's kind of taking like a slow process, but because we want to try to get it right. But that's the process right now.
Are we gonna have input on specific code changes or add-ons?
Well, there eventually, I believe will be a public hearing about it, so
It's gonna be a public hearing, okay.
Yes.
Did you guys discuss, because I didn't watch the meeting last night, I was out of town. Did you guys discuss this last night in the work session?
a little bit, but it's still like has to go back to.
Okay.
Right.
So we have to, because I wanna know what the process is. If we're gonna have a say in it.
As a committee, we can opine on anything.
Mhm.
They can tell
Yes.
us where to go, but with
I
the
know.
committee, we can opine on anything relative to flood mitigation.
Fine, so now we.
But the specific question is if and when they're implementing.
Yes.
And it's also true, we
Yeah,
can
I would
say
say,
this is
yeah.
good, this isn't so good.
Actually, before we go, I know there was, it came about the unanchored toilets. And that goes back to what we were talking about on unanchored everything. So, I mean, isn't it time that you think that maybe we did put a resolution in front of the board again? Have the department actually enforce that? Because it's not being enforced.
So the
Sure.
unanchored toilets, that the email that went out that weekend those were the toilets from the Juneteenth. Juneteenth ended up being canceled.
Right.
The schedule was for them to be removed the next day or the Monday, because it was a Saturday, Sunday, and then it would be removed on a Monday.
Guess I'm looking at
So-
it bigger than that.
And I get it,
Yeah.
and I get it. Is there a way? I mean, then we just won't have toilets for if we have any celebration, because there's no there. And I looked into, because I did look into it, is there a way to anchor down toilets? Any porta potties that do come into the parks, but I believe it takes a lot of work. It would take. And for something that's just so temporary, why ruin our pavement? So it's either we're not gonna have it and we just don't have celebrations, or we just telling people to go any and everywhere, which most people don't sit there and allow people to come into their spaces, or we accept the fact that these things happen. Like there's gonna be an either or.
Well, how about, no,
But I don't want it to sit there and say that it was leftover and it's gonna be leftover for days. There was a specific event because of inclement weather. The event was canceled, and within the next business day, those things were removed.
Yeah. I guess I'm looking at it from a bigger picture.
Yeah,
The stuff that we've been talking about for the last 2 years about being on, I don't think we ever, and nothing's been done about it. I mean,
so look into what should
Yeah,
be.
I mean, who's enforcing it? That's what, I mean,
Why?
nobody.
And I'm not either side. Why can't the solution be sort of the solution what they did with the containers? And they get those big concrete things and they put them down and they chain the porta potties together, one to the other to the other. I'm sure the porta potty, and then the solution is done. You can keep it there for as long as you want, and that's, you know, I mean, it's not a temporary structure, so maybe it could be chained down like that,
And
where they
maybe-
could just bring in two of those. How many? I don't know. There was like what, 5 of them?
Three.
So there was 3 of them. So
3 and
Yeah.
a water wash.
yeah, so there's, you get one of those, the concrete dividers with a connection on it. You connect all
There's a
3.
barrier like
Yeah,
that.
and it solves everyone, it makes everyone happy.
And maybe
But
the-
is there a
whoever the
connection to
vendors
the-
are,
Yeah.
maybe when we ask the vendors or we are working with the vendors, ask them what is the best solution for anchoring down, something like that. That's a question to ask, but yeah,
What
and if
are
you guys want to make a
The other
resolution,
side of the coin is if we had a hurricane coming in with heavy rains, we would cancel the event.
Right.
And they're not gonna leave their porta
Yeah.
potties there to get washed away
Yeah.
anyway.
I think it was a nothing burger, but that's
I
just
guess
me,
I'm
but
thinking it more from, again, from the bigger standpoint,
Yeah.
of containers in general.
yeah.
or things in people's backyards, because eventually
Oh,
those go into the
yeah,
rivers
There,
too.
there we have a real problem.
Yeah.
Right, that's what I'm saying, that's what
That's
I'm-
not porta
yeah.
potties in on
No,
on
but,
Friday
yeah.
and leaving on
The
Monday.
What
bigger,
is the
the bigger
suggestion,
problem, the
guys,
bigger
of
problem is that,
conversation?
When
the unmanned
is-
containers are still out there. and
When is the
nobody's-
rain date? When is the rain date?
July 8th.
So can you find out if
I can ask-
they can do,
I can ask
are
Jeff.
they still there? I don't even know if they're still
No,
there.
they're
Oh,
fixed
okay.
up.
So maybe, oh, all right, so then they're just gonna come and go then. And that's,
So what are they doing at the Harbor Island?
What
about
they
it?
do at the heart, I think they have the building, there's actually where the Marine Center, there's a bathroom there, and also at the pavilion near the beach.
And
There's,
they're on the other side
and-
as well.
yeah, so there's plenty of
There's
spaces
3.
at the harbor that has
So they don't
bathrooms.
need to bring,
No,
Okay.
no, it's just like if it was at Stanley Avenue or these are little
Right.
parks, which they have thought about in terms of, or entertained the idea of putting structures, bathroom structures in the park, but that has not been voted. I want to say it out loud. It's not been voted on. It's just an idea that was passed around. But I understand your concerns, Stephen, and if we're thinking larger picture, then we have to have that discussion as larger picture.
Yeah,
But-
but when you
but-
walk, I mean, when you walk around, we went down
Yeah.
a month ago, and
Mhm.
you look, there's a Jeep, right? What was that? A Jeep? It's like a half of a Jeep on top of who knows what.
oh, behind Starpoli.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, that's what, where Washingtonville is trying to get, get
so,
the code, that's a code violation.
Right.
So it's like,
yeah, so that's.
so that's up to that's the village. I
There's so
mean,
many
they,
portables down
Jimmy's-
there.
Jerry said that there's a new code enforcer. So that maybe should be their first tasks, is to go down there and see that stuff. Because Laura's right, it's just waiting for something to go in the river and clog the river.
But then there are those argue, maybe fire code enforcement's more important.
Yeah, well,
You know. A house can burn down tomorrow. It may not rain for 2 weeks.
I'm concerned about the guy in Waverly though, over there, that it's gonna be where he has all of that heavy concrete and giant drills and all that other stuff, and then we get a hard rainstorm, and then the bank gets eroded, and then all of a sudden that stuff topples into the river, and then it becomes an obstruction.
Well, the question is it a code violation?
Well, it should be, that's,
Well, should be is a different,
That's
that's a
what- that
different
may-
level.
yeah,
First of all, let's enforce code that exists.
yeah.
And then if there are issues that the code doesn't cover, well, then that's a code
Well,
change.
this, okay.
What
that-
about,
that's fair,
what
fair
about
enough.
that dog run behind the
Base.
base?
They gonna do anything about that?
Is that permitted?
How could it
Well,
be
how do they
permitted?
do it?
Well,
They-
that's in our
It didn't sound like it was permitted.
That was part of the motion.
That was part of the motion.
When is the building department gonna get up and running? Because they're involved in all of this thing we're discussing. No, you don't know? Is it? You don't have to answer.
Somebody wants to know.
Because people are saying that, because I emailed her, she didn't even email me back, so I was giving her a little slack, and I'm assuming that the building department, and I've heard that it's in disarray, so it's always.
I can't hear this.
All right, motion to close this meeting.
Okay.
So,
Good night, public. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm the main planner.
I'm gonna, I can't.
Okay.
Bar,
Okay.
find out about.
Yeah, I can talk to,